When you picture the Sahara, what comes to mind? Probably a huge, endless sea of sand, right? Unforgiving. But what if I told you that hidden right beneath those dunes is a completely lost world? We're talking colossal rivers, gigantic predators, and these incredibly ingenious civilizations. Today, we are going to peel back the layers of time and reveal the Sahara's amazing hidden history. So let's start the journey.
So here's where we're headed. We'll kick things off with the Sahara we think we know, and then we're going to travel back thousands of years to a lush, green paradise. We'll meet its wild inhabitants, discover a lost kingdom, watch a dramatic climate shift unfold, and then, finally, take a look at what the future might hold. Okay, so first things first, let's just ground ourselves in the present. The Sahara is the world's largest hot desert. It's become this icon of extreme, raw, and kind of terrifying beauty. Its name actually comes from the Arabic word for emptiness, and it's a place that has both captivated and terrified people for, well, forever. And that name, the Land of Fear, that's not just for dramatic effect. No, it's a reflection of a pretty brutal reality. I mean, with that scorching heat, the vast, vast distances, and the constant threat of dehydration, death can come really quick if you're not prepared. It's a landscape that absolutely commands respect.
And the sheer scale of it, it's almost impossible to really wrap your head around. We're talking 3.5 million square miles. That is larger than the entire contiguous United States. It's truly a continent of sand, rock, and silence, stretching across most of North Africa. But here's the thing, it wasn't always like this.
Okay, now let's rewind the clock, because this is where the story gets really wild. Hidden beneath all that sand is the story of a completely different Sahara, a place that was vibrant, wet, and just teeming with life.
I mean, just look at this comparison. It is staggering. 10,000 years ago, the landscape we know today as a hyper-arid desert was a lush savanna. It was crisscrossed by enormous river systems and dotted with these huge lakes. This wasn't a desert with just a few oases, it was a completely different world.
So what on earth caused this incredible transformation? Well, it was a totally natural climate cycle called the African humid period. Basically, tiny changes in the Earth's orbit, a little wobble, shifted monsoon patterns. This brought huge amounts of rain way farther north than they go today, and just like that, it turned the desert green.
And sitting at the very heart of this green landscape was a true giant, Lake Mega Chad. This was a colossal body of fresh water, covering an area larger than the entire country of Germany. For a time, it was the biggest freshwater lake on the entire planet.
This green world, it wasn't empty, oh no. This was a thriving ecosystem, home to a fantastic lineup of megafauna and, crucially, our own ancestors, who left behind some incredible clues to their existence.
Millions of years ago, one of its most fearsome residents was Spinosaurus. Now, this was not your typical land-based dinosaur. I mean, look at it. It has this crocodile-like snout, cone-shaped teeth perfect for grabbing slippery fish, and that amazing paddle-like tail. These are all signs of a creature built for a life in the water.
And we don't just have to guess about its lifestyle. Science gives us this kind of chemical receipt by analyzing calcium isotopes in its bones. And all that really means is tiny variations in atoms that reflect what an animal eats. Scientists found that Spinosaurus had values way closer to fish than to land predators like Carcharodontosaurus. So, when you put all the evidence together, the weird skeleton, the dense bones for buoyancy, and that chemical signature from its diet, the conclusion is pretty much inescapable. Spinosaurus was a true river monster, perfectly evolved to hunt in the massive waterways of the Green Sahara.
And it's these scientific reconstructions that really bring that world to life, right? They show Spinosaurus in its true element, a lush, watery world that, today, we can only imagine.
So, long after the dinosaurs were gone, humans also thrived in this green world. And all across the Sahara, they left behind thousands of rock carvings. It's like a visual diary of this lost ecosystem. They drew animals like giraffes, crocodiles, and cattle, creatures that couldn't possibly live there today. It's a direct message from a time when this place was alive with water.
But what happened when the Green Sahara started to fade away? You'd expect people to just leave, right? Well, one civilization did the exact opposite. They didn't just survive the desert that was creeping in, they mastered it.
They were called the Garamantes. For over 1,500 years, they built this powerful kingdom in what is now southern Libya.
And what makes them so incredible is that they created the first major urban society in a desert that wasn't built around a big flowing river like the Nile.
So how in the world did they do it? With brilliant engineering. They figured out how to tap into fossil water, basically ancient rainwater that had been trapped underground for thousands of years. They dug this complex network of underground tunnels, called Sahara, that used gravity to channel the water to their fields and cities. It was genius. They literally created lush oases right in the middle of the desert.
This amazing system allowed their capital city, Garama, to support thousands of people. But there was a fatal flaw, and it's a lesson that still echoes today. Fossil water is a non-renewable resource. You can't make more of it. For centuries, they built a thriving society by mining their most precious asset. But eventually, the well ran dry.
The Garamantes' decline was really part of a much bigger, much more dramatic story. You see, the end of the African human period, it wasn't gradual. It was a climatic catastrophe that happened with shocking speed.
Remember Lake Megachad, the largest lake on Earth? In what amounts to a geological blink of an eye, just a few hundred years, it was gone. It vanished. The rains stopped, the rivers dried up, and a vibrant world of water was just buried by sand. This timeline really puts that dramatic shift into perspective. For thousands of years, North Africa was green and wet. Then, around 5,500 years ago, the whole system just flipped. The change was abrupt and it was absolute. It completely reshaped the environment and it forced a massive migration of people and animals.
But the Sahara story isn't over, not by a long shot. Its incredible history of transformation doesn't just tell us about the past. It offers some pretty profound lessons for our present, and it even hints at a very, very different future. So in the last century alone, the Sahara has expanded south by about 10%. In response, humanity is undertaking one of the most ambitious ecological projects in history, the Great Green Wall. And it's not just a wall of trees, it's a whole mosaic of restored lands, using the kind of ancient ingenious knowledge we saw with the Garamantes to harvest rainwater and build a sustainable future.
You can see this same theme of adaptation in peoples like the Tuareg. For centuries, they have navigated this land of fear. Their deep knowledge and their resilient culture are a living testament to humanity's ability to thrive in some of the most extreme conditions on Earth.
And here is the final, absolutely mind-bending twist. That same orbital wobble that created the Green Sahara thousands of years ago, it's part of a predictable cycle. Science tells us this pattern repeats itself roughly every 23,000 years, which means the Sahara's current desert state may not be permanent at all.
So that leaves us with this incredible question. Are we just living in a dry chapter of the Sahara's much longer, much greener story? The desert's past shows us that radical transformation is absolutely possible. And it really forces us to wonder, what will the next chapter of this lost world look like?